Nicole, it is customary when any guest comes on the coffee shop call, you have to take a few minutes and tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and how all roads of your life led to what you currently do right now. So talk to us about that, Nicole.
All righty. So, guys, as Demond said, I am Nicole Brantley. I'm affectionately known as the womb therapist, thinking that we were the only ones suffering with what it is that we have going on as women, fibroids, PCOS, things of that nature. So that is what I do. I help women reverse fibroids, PCOS, endometriosis, chronic repeat fungal and bacterial infections, those who have trouble conceiving, women who are getting these HPV diagnoses at an all-time high, and so much more. All right? Take the option of hysterectomy and other surgeries off of the table because we get those in astronomical numbers. Address their emotional baggage because that's what's at the root of all disease. Because when you understand the chemistry of the body, you understand that anything created can be reversed. Anything. I'm talking HIV, I'm talking herpes, I'm talking about everything that the medical community tells you cannot be reversed, can be reversed. And that's what that course did for me. And so
you've been giving out some good information. I want to get to the root of this. Why are so many of our young girls and women challenged with menstrual cycles, with their menstrual cycles every single month? Talk to us about that, please.
Yes. So there are a couple of reasons that women are challenged by their menstrual cycles, and I'm assuming that you're meaning like why are they heavy, why are they in so much pain with cramps,
That's correct.
All of those things.
That's correct.
Okay.
Right.
So let's address the first thing, diet. Diet is a biggie, okay? Diet and environmental toxins influence why women are having heavy menstrual cycles. We eat for the most part, because most of us eat cooked food. We don't eat raw. It leaves acid ash. Okay, and so acids begin to back up in the body and create stagnant lymph. So when women are dealing with heavy menstrual cycles and they're in pain and they need to be off for 2 days and they just can't understand why it's coming like this, and it was like this for my mother, and it's because we have stagnant lymph that needs to get moving in our reproductive area. Okay, and so then it's environmental toxins like these commercial pads that we know of that are full of toxins. So when we put one of those pads up against the thinnest tissue, our vagina, on our body begins to try to get rid of those toxins immediately. So that's why we're bleeding heavier. We're having a response to the toxins that's being flooded at an all-time high. And don't be wearing a tampon. That piece of cotton that's more than likely not organic, that has all kinds of pesticides and herbicides because the way of the cotton has been farmed, the dioxin that's left behind from the bleaching process, all of those things are flooding your system, and your body is trying to get rid of them. That harsh pulling down feeling in the vaginal area when you put a toxic pad on, that's an allergic reaction to the chemicals that's in it. So first and foremost, we're having horrific cycles that we dread because of what we're eating and the environmental toxins and the things that we're putting on our bodies and on our skin. The second thing is emotional issues unresolved. At the end of anything that is plaguing at the root of anything that is plaguing us, we are dealing with unaddressed emotional baggage, long-standing emotional problems not solved. Okay? And we have to address them. And that's why I do that in my vaginal steaming. That's why I do that in my individual detox programs, because we have to get to the root of what it is that you need to release and let go of, because that negative energy is vibrating through your body. Addressing our emotional issues that we've been holding on to since childhood, in that last marriage that didn't work out, and, et cetera, as well as our diet and these toxins in our environment. So those are the things that are challenging our women, Demond. That's why they're having menstrual cycles that are horrific, that they don't look forward to, that they sign themselves up for hysterectomies for. It breaks my heart, but that's why I'm in business, to educate women on what they need to do to heal so that they can take the option of hysterectomy and other surgeries off of the table. Because guess what? Surgery is not the answer. You get the uterus removed, and then what's next? Your disease in the next weakest area is going to begin to show up for you. So it doesn't solve the problem. And God gave you everything that you need. And that's no shade to people who have gotten hysterectomies. It's just awareness. Okay? We need.
Speak to us about dioxin. Let us know what that's about, where it comes from, what's the dangers of it, with some of these pads and tampons and what it potentially can lead to with our women. Speak to us about that, Ms. Grant.
Absolutely. Let's start off by saying it's one of the most dangerous chemicals on the planet. Why is it in our pads? Can you say modern day genocide? So it's one of the most dangerous chemicals on our planet. In my studies, I actually learned that there's a direct correlation between dioxin and endometriosis. Why don't the doctors know this? Why aren't doctors speaking of this? But we already know how the medical community operates. But it can cause cancer. It causes hormonal imbalances. It disrupts the endocrine system. Okay, that's the system that houses our glands. Our control center starts with the pituitary gland. It tells your menstrual cycle when to come on. It speaks to the other glands and say, you need to do this. You need to release this hormone. This is not a flight or fight situation, so you should not be going into anxiety right now. Hey, adrenal glands, release some steroids. Okay, so it disrupts that system. So things are all going cuckoo because it's not in balance. All right, it impacts liver function. We need our liver. It filters things for us. And it's really the cause of a lot of infertility. All right? And I want you to know it's more than just our commercial pads. So the way I understand dioxin as far as how it shows up in our pads is that it is what's left behind as a result of the bleaching process to get sanitary napkins stark white. And so we have them looking, clean and fresh and sanitized. And as a result of that process, dioxin is left behind in the commercial pads, and that is what's causing us to have a lot of the issues that we have as women, okay? So that's pretty much what dioxin is in a nutshell. It's one of the most dangerous chemicals on the planet, and it's found in a lot of our things because this government allows a lot of things, a lot of chemicals into the United States that are completely banned in other countries.